2026 NFL High Stakes Fantasy Football Interview. I'm your host, Joe Carlton, and I am joined by high stakes player Jay Wimmers. He will share his fantasy football journey with us, and then I will bring on members of the regular high stakes crew, Joey Brown and Mike Gamberg, and we will discuss process from player evaluation to draft prep to in-season management. It's all coming up now on Aces Up. All right, Jay. It's a pleasure to have you on Aces Up. I know you've been a listener for a little bit while, so I appreciate you for that. Fellow high stakes opponent. Definitely seen you around in the draft room. Looking forward to chopping it up with you for a little while. So how's it going this evening?
It's going pretty good. I appreciate you having me on tonight. Hopefully my audio is coming in good.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there is a little bit of a delay, but we can hear you. So, I mean, we'll have to roll with it. I mean, we got you here. So let's dive into it. So before we later on in the show, we're going to bring on Mike and Joey. We're gonna get to learn a little bit about your fantasy background and who you are as a person. This is the first time I'm meeting you face to face, even though it's not really in person. It is on camera, but it's still pretty cool. So why don't you let us know where you're from, if you want to talk about family, anything, hobbies outside of fantasy football. Give us a brief rundown of Jay Wimmers, the guy.
Sure. I was born in Connecticut, moved to Long Island when I was about 4 or 5. So I lived in Massapequa, Amityville. That's where I grew up. I moved to Phoenix around 97 and then moved to the Charlotte area in North Carolina in 1999. And I've been here ever since. Currently married with 2 kids. Been married for 18 years now. Met my wife playing softball, so I like to play sports, softball, baseball, recreational, whatever, golf, poker. If there's a competition and a winner and a loser, then I'm in.
Nice. You said poker. What kind of what type of? What do
so I don't play a lot anymore, but back when the boom was happening in the aughts, I was in on party poker. I think I played on a lot. Or Paradise Poker, one of those.
Old school sites. Yeah.
Yeah. And then awesome. When we used to have, there was probably like 10 to 15 of us that would gather every weekend and have like tournaments before we would go out and play. So we'd play some no limit tournaments, and there were some bars that were running like competitions to, earn a trip to the World Series of Poker. So we'd compete with that stuff too.
Yeah.
Never did well enough in that to get anywhere, but I had a lot of fun doing that.
You have to win them outright. I played in one. It was a $250 buy-in in New Hampshire, and it was like 340 something entries or something like that, and only one seat was being awarded. But there was the top 5 prizes were real nice, and it got down to 4. And still to this day, my biggest regret in poker is I agreed to a 4-way chop because we all got it was like 56 and change, I want to say. And we agreed to that instead of playing for the seat. It wasn't for the World Series of Poker. It was for the $10,000 buy-in at the Borgata Atlantic City World Poker Tour. So similar.
Similar.
Yeah. But
yeah, I watch those all the time. So I don't play a lot anymore, but I'm always watching
I sold
the DPT.
It's sold out for the stack of cash in my hand, but I'm gonna, $250 tournament. That's the way I looked at it. I was young and stupid, so. But if today, if I got into that situation, no way I'm chopping. I can tell you that much.
We're playing this out.
Yeah, yeah. I was second in chips, but it wasn't like that far off at first. I'll never forget it. But yeah, all right. Back to what we were talking about. So golf, softball, obviously.
So golf, I don't have a lot of spare time these days with work and kids. My kids are 15 and 10 now, so they're in all kinds of sports. And my she's 15. She's in marching band at the high school, so they got competitions during football season, and they have a winter program that they do too. So, and I help out with that, and I usually help with my son with whatever sport he's in.
Yeah,
at least I'm there watching him. So
I know
the free time for golf and other interests aren't there.
I know the feeling. My kids are 11 and 7, so I'm headed straight for that 15-10 territory. But yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of maintenance, but it's great. I mean, that's why you have them. All right, so let's get into fantasy football. How were you introduced to fantasy football? When did you start playing? If you can remember your first draft, give us details.
I can remember my first draft very clearly. So I worked. It was 1991, and I was working at King Cullen Supermarket on Long Island. Shout out King Cullen. And I had a friend there that I worked with, and he would talk about the fantasy football league he was in with his college friends the year before. So I'm like, hey, that sounds cool. Can I get in on that? He's like, yeah, all right. I already got a partner. You can be our third partner. So 1991, show up to the draft. We drew playing cards to get to draft, to pick draft position. I drew the ace of spades, so we got the first pick. Randall Cunningham, fresh off his monster 1990 season. And then week 1, second quarter, blows his knee out, done for the year. It's like, okay, this game kind of sucks. But no, it was good. So I'm still in that league with that friend. And it's one of the weirder formats I've ever been in. It's a rotisserie head-to-head points league. So in any given game, there's 27 points up for grabs, and you get points by winning your category. So passing yards are 3 points. Passing touchdowns minus half an interception is 3 points. Rushing yards are 4 points. And I don't know, like that. So you have to get 14 points out of all those categories to win your game that week. And it doesn't matter if I beat you 305 yards to 1, I get 3 points. If I beat you 305 to 304, I still get 3 points. And you get
yeah, rotisserie style. Yeah.
There is a lot of strategy in that one that I still struggle with today.
Consistency is key in that league, in those type of leagues.
Yeah, you need consistency. You need to have guys that can contribute to multiple categories. So you need running quarterbacks. You need running backs that can catch passes. You need guys that can score touchdowns. But yeah, that league is a lot of fun.
So 1991, that gives you 35 years. 35 years. Nice.
So that was my one league for a long time until I moved to Phoenix. And then I started a work league there where I basically set up the same format because I didn't even know what standard scoring or anything that was until my work league. One of the guys I invited, his friend had a college league. So he invited me to that. So I did that. And that was just like standard scoring. So I'm like, oh, wait, you only get points for this and this? Okay. Interesting. And obviously that's the way we all play. But
yeah, back then you got the bonus for the 100, the milestone bonuses and touchdowns. So that's what it was all about. The PPR was introduced from what I remember.
2001, I started getting into PPR because we moved over to Yahoo, and that was like a new setting. It's like, ooh, PPR, let's do this. And I won't play standard. No,
and it's funny because initially I was like, maybe PPR is a little bit much, and then once you're like, you're in one league that has that type of score, and you're like, this has got to be the way. Like, there's no other way.
So I think if there was a happy medium, I'd do half point PPR and half point first down. I could live with that, but
yeah, when I introduced it to the league that I ran back in the early 2000s, we did half point And some guys argued a point. I didn't even want to do a half point. I was against it, like I just said. But so many people were like, "Why don't we just try it out?" And I was like, "All right, we'll do half point then." And they, they were agreed to it, but they were like, "Ah, it should be a full point." I'm like, "All right," but definitely, full point is the way to go in my opinion. But that's cool. So 1991 was your first draft. That's awesome. First pick, Randall Cunningham.
We'll never forget that one.
Right.
Yeah. So, I was in multiple leagues in the early 2000s because of Yahoo. So, I'd get my high school friends in a league, other friends in different leagues. So started expanding my reach there. Didn't get into high stakes until 2013 though. So
I was going to say, how'd you end up there?
I used to get Fantasy Index every year. So I saw, I think Joey was posting that he got his the other day. So I would get that every year. And that's what we'd use for our Bible for, our cheat sheets. But I would, I'd see the ads in there starting probably in the early 2000s for the different high stakes contests that were going on at the time. And so it's like, I wonder what that's all about.
Yeah, I kind of wish I got involved much earlier myself. Like, I don't know why. 2004 was right in my wheelhouse too. I should have been in there. But
so I would get distracted. Poker. 2005, I was probably huge in poker, so I was doing that.
That was it.
Then I started dating my wife in 2006, so that was a good 2 years of that. And I think I was kind of ready in 2009, 2010, but then the week off thing hit where they didn't pay out the winners that one year because they were commingling the funds. So I saw that. I was like, ooh, I don't know if I want to get into that right now. So nice. I let it sit for a couple more years. And then 2013, I'm finally like, okay, it's time to give this high stakes stuff a shot.
So what contest did you enter? How many did you
I actually started with baseball. I think I did baseball cut line that year in NFBC. And then because I was doing fantasy baseball at the time too. And then I did a cut line in the NFFC that year too. And slowly over time, I've grown from one league to three to way too many.
Right. Nice. So what are you up to now? You play in prime times? Are you up to the prime? What's on your menu in 2020?
So usually I try to mix in some prime times and some main events on FFPC, but I had a terrible year last year, so I'm cutting back to just OCs and big gorillas this year. And that's like a luxury for me. Yep. I've got some capital to spend and throw away if that's what happens, but I don't have unlimited budget, so
we got to hit the big one.
I got to earn those entries to the prime time.
You the guys that do 20, 30 bullets, they've won something, a nice chunk, at least once, multiple times, and they have the privilege to hammer it like that, and so that's the name of the game. Man. It's part of the game, so I get it.
So I still will do the silver bullet though, and then NFFC or FFPC, they have the super bracket. I'll do that one too. And I do
What's that?
One FFPC prime time. So the super bracket is kind of like the silver bullet, but it's a little different format. I think you play 11 weeks in your league, and then the top two teams qualify for the bracket. So it's like a March Madness thing. There's only 96 teams, so it's 8 leagues, and you play head to head against, you get matched up based off of your seeding with somebody else, whether it's in your league or one of the other 8 leagues, and you just play it out March Madness style.
Nice. So, but it is single. It's single entry.
It's single entry, yeah. And all the drafts are right before opening day.
James. Joe always smiles when poker is mentioned. This is true. That's what he mentioned. I was like, you said poker, so now we got to talk about something. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard you talking about it the other day, so I was like, I'll make sure to bring that up.
Yeah, I mean, of course. Another one of my favorite hobbies. All right, so have you got any major cashes, like any major wins? Have you won multiple OCs?
So I've won individual leagues, primetime, OCs, silver bullet, FFPC. I won leagues of both those. overalls. I came in third in the first Silver Bullet behind Theo and Mike Santos, I think.
Mike
I got a
Santos. I think that was Santos, and then Theo.
yeah,
I remember.
Santos. Sando was right behind me in fourth. Hi, Mike.
Yeah.
I have an 8th overall in the FFPC playoff challenge a couple of years ago. I had a couple of min cashes in the OC overall, but haven't made a serious run there other than I mentioned it with Nelson the other day. I had one team that if I'd have played Mike Evans the week he had like 40 or 50 instead of Puka, because that was my decision at the end, I would have moved up from 44th to top 10. So I don't regret the decision. I thought it was the right decision at the time. You can't, what are you going to do? The process was good.
Process over results. That just happens. Bad. That's a bad beat. What are you going to do?
It's just painful to watch that number go up like, I could have
played it. Yeah. So have you ever been to an NFC and any live drafts? Do you go to Vegas at all or New York?
So used to go to Vegas a lot more. Again, wife, kids limit that. I wouldn't say they prevent that because my wife likes to go to Vegas too, but we have to do more family style trips. Like we just got back from Disneyland a couple of weeks ago. But so I haven't been to an actual draft out there that I would participated in. I was out there for March Madness a couple of years ago. So I popped over to check out the scene during the baseball drafts.
Nice.
Just to say hi to Greg and Tom and see what was going on.
Now, my next question for you, you got the Scott Fishbowl shirt on. Have you been involved?
Yep. So I just got an entry yesterday. So this will be my now 4th out of the last 5 years where I've been in. Got my Scott Fishbowl 12 shirt on.
So since Scott Fishbowl 12, right? Nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
I made the semis last year, and I think I was like 253 or 254. So I was right at the cut line from making the finals.
Nice.
So hoping to improve on that this year.
What do you think of the scoring system this year?
It looks fun. Like I said,
how you approaching things?
I haven't even looked at it yet because I was waiting till I got an entry before I started studying. I saw it was all, lots of bonuses and everything. So
yeah, it is.
I don't think that's going to adjust my approach from last year. It seems pretty similar. It's positionless basically, aside from 2 QBs. So I'll probably just do what I did last year and take a QB if one's there, if it makes sense. But I'll be focusing on receivers and running backs that just get lots of volume.
Nice. There's no points for carries though. I will say that this year. That's the difference between last year and this year.
Okay. Yeah. Like I said, I'll have to study the.
I just letting you know. You might want to lean wide receiver more than running back. But I think unless you're getting the premium running backs are the premium running backs. So I'm not arguing against them. But.
Yeah, so that's one of my strengths, I think, as a player is studying the rules and not trying to go over the line, but figuring out, where does the scoring drive you to what types of players are you looking for based off of the score?
Right. It could dictate how you want to make your build, I suppose.
Yeah, like I said, in my original league, the draft goes way different because quarterbacks, especially running quarterbacks, are way more valuable. Because they contribute to so many categories, they can almost win you a week by themselves. So the draft boards look much different there by design. And it makes for lots of interesting builds in that one.
Yes, it does. The Ultra Flex. All right. Have you ever been to the Fantasy Football Expo? There in the shirt.
I have not.
Nice. This is a good time. If when the kids get older, if it's still running, I would definitely make it at least go to one. It's a 5-day.
Yeah, I'd like to check that out. That does look fun. Whenever I see people posting,
it's a 5-day event. It's a 3 to. It's actually I think I went for 5 days last year. I'm not going to make it out this year. I don't think, but I went last year. It was it's everybody that loves fantasy football or is in the fantasy football industry gets into one spot and just hangs out, talks football, talks life. whatever, have a few drinks together. There's the football guys poker tournament. There's a cornhole tournament. It's real fun. There's fantasy drafts galore. They have a draft night out. People doing fantasy drafts on the side. There was a underground cash game, poker game that
there you go. I'm sure you were in that.
No, I didn't go. I made it a point to say I didn't want to play anything other than the football guys. I was going to enjoy I didn't want to get into a poker. I get into a poker game over here down the street at the casino. I'm going to the Fantasy Football Expo to see fantasy football friends. You know what I mean? I didn't want to get involved splashing the pot around, so I didn't go. But there was even a cash game. You know, I know Ronnie and Evans and Iggy from the Sports Affiliation participated. I think Drew Davenport had something to do with that as well. You know, he runs the football guys poker tournament. So, but yeah.
He's my fantasy football lawyer.
Yeah, me too. He's good, man. He gets it right.
He breaks it down so well.
Yeah. And he's in ways that like everybody can understand too, not just like people with that, you know, that have any type of knowledge when it comes to litigation. But yeah. So yeah, Fantasy Football Expo, great time. I got to know who
first things first. I got to get to one of these live drafts.
Yeah,
that'll be my first goal.
Yeah, New York is fun. It's in Chris's Carl's bar, Chris and Joe DeGalvo. I think they call him the bar. Such a good time. All those guys are great. The New York crowd is amazing. It's perfect. It's a little, it's a little tight, but perfect for two drafts to go on at the same time. And then it's rotate, you know, every 2 hours there's another draft. So it's real fun. Get together, hang out, catch up, see people, meet people, put names to faces. It's a great thing. So definitely would love to see you up there, man. It's a good time.
It'll happen sooner than later. I'm not sure about this year, but lots of vacation time already.
I know. It's hard to spread that out. It gets thin quick. All right, so I got to know who you're rooting for in the NFL. You're from North Carolina, so
the New York Football Giants.
And congrats from growing up in Connecticut, I assume.
From growing up on Long Island. My dad was a big fan, and Lawrence Taylor got drafted right when I started watching, so pretty easy to root for the Giants.
Yeah, they were good around in that time frame. I mean, they're still good. I always liked them. I hate what they did to us two separate occasions. but I
enjoyed those games.
Yeah.
Not sure.
But I do respect the hell out of those teams. They were good football teams, you know, and they all, you know, all those guys went on to, not all those guys, but like Antonio Pierce went on to coach. Strahan's, he's got his own Today Show in the morning. You know, this is a team that I have respect for. So, and Bill Parcells was there when you first started watching them. And then he came over and fixed the New England Patriots. So there's a little bit of a connection to why I would like the Giants initially.
And that other coach you had after that, the Belichick, whatever his name is.
Yeah, Belichick was the defensive coordinator. Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny.
It stemmed from that tree, yeah.
If you've seen the video that's been floating around recently of them interviewing LT when Belichick first took over as the defensive coordinator, and he's like, "Why are you hiring this guy? He sucks." Or who is he? And then Parcells tells him, "Well, he's designed the defenses the last 2 years. We just promoted him to defensive coordinator now because he was special teams coach." He's like, "Oh, he did that? Okay, we'll give him a chance."
Nice. Pretty funny. James wants you to elaborate. How many games will the Giants win this year?
The same amount I say every year: 20-0 Super Bowl champs. But seriously, I for sure hope we're on the damn way up this year, and hopefully we at least have a winning season.
Nice. Are we buying
I'm hoping-
Malik Davis in Dynasty?
In Dynasty, I'm buying them everywhere. In
Yeah.
redraft, I'm still nervous with the second knee surgery, but I'll take him late third, early fourth.
I got him. Now it wasn't a OC. I did a gladiator. Is that what it is? A gladiator. Yeah, the 14.
Yeah, that one's a little tougher to take him in because you don't want to fall behind in those.
Well, here's how.
Everybody scores.
See. Now this is why I took him. I'm going to tell you my counter argument to that. When everybody else is starting to drop guys, I'm going to be gaining a guy in Malik Davis. Unless he gets hurt again and then he's gone.
Wait, am I confusing my formats? Is that the one? Is that like the guillotine, or is that the one where you don't make any moves and it's
the 14
guys and it's
you draft 14 guys. It's best ball and they all count for point total.
But you're saying when everybody else is having injuries and those guys are no longer scoring, you're going to be getting points out of Neighbors. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's going to take long for Neighbors to pop up. I just had I have a little less confidence that he's ready.
I got him at 48, pick 48. I was like, I'm not letting him fall any further. I'm taking him. But yeah, I agree. I kind of if he when he dips, he's hard to pass on, man.
Yeah, I think I got 1/4 round share of him. So
yeah, I'll take him now for sure.
I keep drafting late, like 8 to 12, so I'm always at the beginning of the third round. So I'd consider him there, but there's usually somebody else I'll take over him.
Nice. All right, so we got through. We got through your fantasy background interview, Jay. We're gonna bring on Joey. Mike is not here yet, but we'll add him. We'll bring him on when he does show up. Joey, what's going on, man? How you doing, brother?
Oh, that was good. That's a good interview. I like to listen to that. I was like to listen to these stories, and I always liked Randall Cunningham myself. So back today, he was awesome.
I didn't like him too much as a Giants fan, but man,
right. I never said that.
Time.
I remember the year that you did real good in that Silver Bullet. That you had a good season. That was a lot of big names up there. You was up there, Sanda, Theo. Theo got runner up to Santos. That was the very first one, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember my whole team, but I know I had Lamar. I'm pretty sure that was rookie year Lamar, right? Or second year. I remember getting him at like the 8th, 9th round.
I don't remember what year it started.
I think in 19. I think it was the first year, Joe.
It may have been. That's a fun contest, Silver Bullet is. I like it.
Yeah. Single entry, top 3 get in for the shootout.
They've extended it a little bit. I don't know how many. Was there 277 this year or something? I can't remember how many there was. They keep adding. They try to keep adding leagues every now and then.
It's still small enough. Under 300 entries, single entry, nobody can enter more than once. You get.
I think it was 276.
You're talking what, like 65, 70 teams in the shootout, maybe 75, 70 teams.
Like
yeah, I think that's around 70. Because I did a little post on Twitter after the season to show everybody's lifetime rankings in the Silver Bullet, and it was like top 65 to 70, something like that.
It was 252 last year.
Yeah.
It was 252. I don't know if they added any this year, but
yeah, I think they're trying to, like Joey said, they're trying to add a league or two every year.
Yeah.
I know the year that he won it. I don't know what year I won it, the league. Not it went overall, but the price went up. It went up $1,000.
It did.
It was $4K, I think, when we won it at the first league price, because it was $1,000 entry. Time it went to 12.
Yeah, I was going to say they bumped it up to $1,250 too. So
yeah.
Now it's $5. Now it's $5K for first, right? And you're like,
now.
That's a good win to have too. Silver Bullet champ. Oh yeah. Joey, you got 2 of them?
I've got 2 league titles and overall point leader of the
going in
and had a bad week 15, killed me. I was nightmares. it was a good league. It was fun.
Nice. All right, so we're on here to talk about process. When I was talking with Jay about what he possibly might want to talk about, he mentioned process. I like it. We haven't done a show on process in a while.
Right.
Just in general, draft prep. How are we evaluating these players? When are we starting drafting? All that stuff. So Jay, let's start with the simple stuff. When do you start your prep for the upcoming season?
I usually started right at the end of the previous season because I want to get my thoughts fresh on the players from that year and how I felt about them at the end of the year. Again, you got to factor in injuries and whatnot and not rate those guys or worry about those guys as much, but it's how do I feel about these players if we were drafting today? And then I make sure I do some sort of ranking or, start prepping for my rankings for next year by doing that exercise at the end of the year. And then when I sit, and don't do anything for a couple of months, I still have that thought process in place to work from.
Joey, how about? Oh, go ahead. Oh, no, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No,
you're still going, man. Keep it going. I thought you'd.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say then it's just whenever I feel like picking it back up, if I start having people sending me Dynasty trades or Campus to Canton league start trying to move rosters around earlier, then I'll start going back and saying, okay, I need to start thinking about my 2026 or my rankings for the upcoming year so I can figure out how I feel about these guys and whether I'm pulling the trigger on these trades or not.
Nice. So as far as Dynasty goes, when do you start studying like the upcoming rookie class, or is that something you're doing all
Campus
year?
To Canton, so I'm in I think 20 Campus to Canton leagues, or close to 20 if it's not 20. So if you don't know, Campus to Canton is you draft a college roster, you draft an NFL roster, you play out both seasons, and then when your college guys graduate, they don't go into a draft, they just move to your NFL roster.
So
I'm paying a lot more attention than I used to. I really picked that up in the last couple of years.
Nice.
I did one league through fantasy points, and that turned into 3, turned into 10, turned into 20. So it grew pretty quickly on me. But I pay way more attention to college than I used to. So I've already done a lot of work on the rookies because I know who's coming out. Because they're moving to my NFL roster here.
You're continuously looking at their progress all the time. So that's cool. I like that. You get a head start on that's what I love about playing Dynasty. You get a head start on the rookies before landing spots. I think you
definitely have to be thinking about that, even if you're not doing that when it's trade deadline's coming up, and how valuable these picks going to be next year. Is there enough guys coming out to make the the league winners first round pick worth something, or like this year, maybe not.
All right. So when we are evaluating players, what are some of the key stats? Like what do you prioritize for stats? Is it box score numbers? You looking at metrics, volume? What do you consider important?
So this is going to sound weird because at heart, I'm a math guy, but I'm also a logic guy. But when it comes to stats, I mean, really the only things I'm looking at are consistency of points per game when you actually played and the volume of touches or targets you're getting. Everything else, it's not a Bible to me. I'll look at it. If somebody posts some stats somewhere, I'll go do a little research to figure out what they're talking about and see if it's interesting. But it really doesn't factor into my process that much. I used to spend a lot of time, first of all, my process during the season is I'm watching all the games at once, and I've trained my eyes to go from game to game to game and not miss plays. I don't like to watch red zone because you don't see what's happening in between the 20s and who's getting the touches. Did Kenneth Walker start the first 2 series and now Charbonnet's in for the third? Or is it like it was last year? Walker carries the ball until they touch the 10-yard line and then Charbonnet comes in. You don't see that on red zone all the time. But if you can follow the games and follow that pattern, because it's always, you can watch play here, and as soon as that play's over, you move to the next screen and just keep moving along until you go back to the whatever game you started with. but you can pick up a lot of stuff just watching the games through. So whether you're doing that in the game or you watch the condensed versions afterwards, I think that's a critical thing to my process anyway, to know how the coaches are using the players, not just the numbers they end up with at the end of the day. I remember a game last year, it was early in the season, where Walker got a carry at the 12, took it to the 7. They brought Charbonnet in, and Walker looked at the coach on the way off. Then they got a penalty after that. It was a false start, I think. So they went back to the 12. Walker goes right back in. I don't remember if they got another penalty or whatever happened. They went back inside the 10. Walker back out, and he's like screaming at the coach, like, "Why are you taking me out?" It's like that. You don't get that on Red Zone all the time.
Right.
Gambert's backstage.
Oh, no, he's not.
Oh,
I didn't see it. I never saw him pop in. He put in the private chat too. Sorry, Mike. Come back. I never saw him. What the hell? All right.
Yeah. So usually, going back to my ranking process, I'm usually, waiting till free agency kicks in to really start wrenching on my rankings, because you got to see who ends up where. There's no point in ranking, guys that are free agents or teams that are going to be doing something to fix the offensive line or whatever positions they need help with. There's no point in wrenching on that stuff too much until after free agency passes, and you can at least have an idea of where the teams are heading, whether it's up or down.
There he is.
very good process.
Sorry about that, Mike.
No problem. Hey, Jay, how you doing?
Hey, Mike. Good to see you.
Good to see you. The only thing I got, since I was doing a couple things, walking the dog and stuff, like I caught your Randall Cunningham thing. I remember that Bryce Pop took him out in Green Bay. First, they should have had that rule back, the Brady rule back in the day. He would have had the whole season of him.
Yeah, I'm sure that was more painful for Randall, but it was pretty painful for me.
Painful for me too, being an Eagles fan. It was going to be a good year, but
So, Jay, do you do any early best ball drafts, or when do you start jumping into drafts?
So this year I've cut back on the best balls. Last couple of years I've done a bunch of underdog and drafters, and I'd always make the mistake of signing up for too many slow drafts at once and then getting frustrated that they don't move along. And again, it's a slow draft, but I like to make my picks and be done with it. Because one of the things I hate about the slow draft is I lose the build I was going for, because you spend so much time between picks. It's like, wait, what was I thinking when I made that pick? I try to set my queue up to make sure I, capture where I was going, but sometimes the build gets away from me, and I go back and look and like, why do they do that?
I'm not a fan of the slow draft myself. I did it. The Gladiator I did was a 2-hour one, and it moved along because it was NFFC guys. So it moved along pretty good, but even the 2-hour ones, I just don't like the idea of giving your opponent, especially of the caliber we play against, that much time to analyze what they want to do. Like, I think it's bad enough that you guys barely make mistakes in the live draft. Like, now we're going to give you 4 hours, the luxury of really, really deep dive in things before you make your pick. Like, I don't know. It seems unfair to me. I like the 60-second timer. Let's go. It's over in an hour and a half on the spot. That way, if something happens, if diversity happens and somebody's queue disappears and now it's their turn, and they really I'm talking three players deep on the queue just went off, and now that person sitting there like, what do I do? They have less than, and obviously they could bounce back and find the player, but I think there should be margin for error. I don't know if there's margin for error in a slow draft, other than guys like you and me, Jay, that get agita from it and and make a bad pick, go on tilt, slow draft tilt.
And that's our own fault, right? We know what we signed up for. It's a slow draft.
I don't get it either. I don't understand that concept, because if I sign up for a slow draft, I know they're going to move a little bit slow, but it's the owner's responsibility. At least keep it. I mean, you get emails, you check it. I mean, I don't feel like some people. I done one draft. It was an FFPC. It went from May 15th to into June, and I had done a OC's. I forget. I done a gladiator slow draft and got it done before the baby gorilla was done. It was like, oh my god, this is like watching paint dry. I said, this is awful. But I think people are at least.
You know what the slow draft is telling you, Joe? You gotta you gotta get in like 50 more so you don't have to deal with that.
You know what I think happens, especially like these 6-hour ones. I think people aren't. This is no joke. I honestly think people sit on the clock thinking, okay, because any NFL news is going to break. Okay, I'm gonna draft this guy if they're still on the board. I think sometimes they just sit there and watch for Schefter or I mean, I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah, I know that happens in like August time if you're still doing slow drafts then especially when preseason games are going on, people are just waiting for that injury to happen and it's the 4th round. I can get, the backup running back for the guy that just got hurt.
And it plays a part in it. I really do. I think so. I was going to ask you too, Jay, where you said you've done about 8 OCs. Have you found like a comfortable spot yet in the KDS where I know you said you drafted from 8 to 12 a lot? Have you got any idea about where you want to be at just yet? I
was leaning there early because Amon-Ra was my target for most of these. I think I got like 50% of him so far. But he's moved up to 5 or 6. So, but I also want to mix stuff up too. So I've been shifting my KDS around a little bit. I've been trying to get top 3 for a while just to get a Chase or a Bijan or someone up there.
Right.
Yeah, a little different build. But yeah, I feel comfortable in the middle to late just because of the way the rest of the draft lays out. You still get that good guy in the 2nd round, and I like who you're getting in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th in those rounds. And those are the key guys to your build, right?
Yeah, even if you're in the middle, you're not going to get caught on them runs. You're not going to get caught up in a positional run. I mean, that even being in the middle. I've drafted from 1. I've drafted 3. I've done 1, 6, and 12. I'm like, I don't know. I think I always like in the back end myself personally. I think better. I think especially with 3rd round reversal. I think I like it better.
Early on, I was loving the back end because I thought there was a possibility of the 3rd round Bowers falling, and it's happened a couple times. And congratulations to those people who got him because now as we get closer to August, I don't think he's going to fall into the 3rd round anyway. So that's key. You get 2 key foundation pieces plus Bowers because of the 3rd round reversal. So yeah, all kinds of ways to approach KDS where you want to be placed on the board. I think it's going to shift a little bit. I mean, every spot has its pockets for the most part. At some point in the draft, you just hope it's the right pocket. And you get multiple. Sometimes the guy next to you can make your draft too if you can get it so that the guys around you are doing the opposite. Then it's a lot less likely that you get sniped along the way. So, it's one of my favorite parts about NFFC. You get to try to choose where you want to pick. You get to
I like it. So you can, number one, you can you can purposely pick a different spot than you've been drafting in to try to get a different mix of players.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Rather than just let the random number generator assign it for you.
So
you end up with 7 sevens in a row.
When did you start drafting? Right when the first drafts were going in April?
So last year I did the first draft, or like February, whenever that was. This year I think I waited till May. I think I waited till the schedule release before I jumped in one. And that I may have done one right before the schedule release. Nice. It was right around there though. So yeah, so this year, normally I spend a lot of time in March, April tweaking my rankings, and this year I just didn't have time. And what I found over the last 4 or 5 years is my rankings usually come pretty close to ADP anyway, and I'm usually using ADP as a guide for my drafts. I'm not going off ADP and just say, I'm drafting this guy here. I have my own opinion on the guys and where they're going in ADP, but I'll just move them up and down my rankings, but kind of use ADP as the starting point.
You push the guys up you like, and you fade the guys.
Yeah, and I'll drop the guys down I don't like. And when I'm doing my draft process, I'll use ADP once I know my draft spot to kind of map out what players at what positions do I like that might be available where I'm picking.
Right.
And try to, and do a couple of quick little scenarios where, okay, if I take receiver in the first round and I take running back in the second round, where am I getting my second, third, fourth receivers from? Where am I getting running back from? If I go tight end early, where am I getting those running backs and wide receivers to build up my depth in the 7th, 8th round? Who's going to be there if I go this way or that way? So I'm not using it to say, this is my exact plan for the draft.
Right.
It's who would I like to get, and who would I pivot to if I go in a different direction at any of these picks?
What I do is I call it a realistic build exercise, and I try to use the ADP and try to put together a realistic lineup. I do it for the first 6 rounds usually. I don't go any deeper than that, but because at that point you kind of know where that first 6 rounds is going to dictate what you do the rest of the draft. But and like you said, you map out possibilities. If it goes wide receiver, this is my options in 3, 4, 5, and I like that. I do pretty much the same thing. But like I said, it's I put all the lineups out in front of me, and I just kind of like let them settle in my brain. I keep them by me when I'm drafting. That way I don't lose train of lose my thought process, as we're going through the draft. Again, this is why I like the live drafts over the slow draft. In the slow draft, you can take the time to do all this stuff. In the live draft, you got to make on the spot decisions. So, and having a process like this is definitely helps. So I like that. Joe, what are your thoughts on how Jay's using ADP? You do the same thing, right?
I think he's doing it the right way. I use ADP for myself, as far as where I didn't take my guide. It's just like a guide for me. I don't draft off ADP, but I look at it like, okay, I always try to put my first 3 rounds together. I really think your roster construction starts in the 3rd round, based on if you're going to go to 2 wide receivers 2 out of 3 rounds, or are you going to go straight wide receiver? I really think the 3rd round reversal really pretty well dictates a guy's roster for the most part. I may be totally wrong, but that's how come I guess the KDS goes back to do you want to be in the back end of that 3rd round reversal? I mean, it's just like I said, his process is great, and I've never have done the rankings. I think it's good that you do, but
I do it more to just preload it into the software, so I don't have to go searching for the guys I want to push up.
Right.
They're already at the top of the queue, and I just, when I'm in the room, I'll just change it from the default to my list, and then my guys are right there.
Nice.
Yeah, I can see, who's dropping off and who might I need to push up because I'm out of guys that I like, and I don't want any of the guys that everybody else is taking here.
Yeah, that's really all you can do. Like, so I think 3rd round reversal. I'll tell you this year here. I was telling Joe and them. I said 2nd round to me it's tough because 1st round almost set in stone, and there's so many good players in that 2nd round. Almost like, okay, who am I going to put with my 1st round pick to go with? There's so many different options in the 2nd round. I've noticed, like, you could go running back wide out, or I've seen tonight's live draft. There's somebody went 3 straight running backs again. I mean, I don't do that. I don't knock nobody from doing it, but this format, you got to have a few wide receivers. But
for me, I find the I found the wide receivers dry up somewhere in the 8th, 9th round where I just don't want any of those guys. I don't want to have to
They
start
do.
any of them right away. Maybe one of them emerges and you got a starter there. But in week 1, there's not a guy that's back there past like Jaden Reed-ish, somewhere in that area that I feel good about starting week 1. And if I don't have 3 receivers before that, that's not going to be a build I like. May work out.
Absolutely.
Again, I have a couple like that because I went a couple of Bowers or Warren earlies with the Josh Allen. So I have some teams that are going to be hunting for wide receiver 3 flex options early, but I don't feel good about those.
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up. So you do have a draft where you took a quarterback and a tight end both in the first 6 rounds.
Yeah, I have a couple.
How did you?
I did one early, and
how'd you fill that? How'd you fill the rest of the build out?
Yeah, you did one of those when I was drafting with you, that Bowers Allen team. It looked nice to me. We were in the same draft.
Yeah, it doesn't make you feel comfortable with your depth, but I would also say that I'm sure the team is actually pretty good. But for me, I like to feel comfortable up with my 3rd receiver, my flex. So I don't have that comfort level that I like to have with my build. But it's, there's definitely some good players. I'll see if I can pull it up on my other screen here in a second.
I had it up. If Bowers turns out to be what he was 2 years ago, I think it's you're going to be happy. That's why you took him there, the second.
How many points does Brock Bowers have to score to pay off? Do you guys think points for? Is there a set number you're looking?
I think he's got to separate the tight ends by by a good separate himself from the top inside the top 10 tight ends. That's going to be.
He's got to be at least 15 bare minimum. So when I'm looking at my lineups, you need to average at least 145 points just going off history to qualify for the overall tournament in the OCs. That's just where the averages come in. So if you're not, I look at it like, you need 20 points out of your quarterback. You need 90 points out of your 6 running back, wide receiver flexes. So that's what, 110. You need another 10 to 15 from your tight end. You need 15 to 20 from your defense. That'll get you to about 140. So you need guys that are going to go beyond, it's like a 15-point average for your running back receivers. You need guys that are going to go above 20 at quarterback. You need a couple of guys that are going to drag that 90 up to 100 on a weekly average basis to get to your 150 average that you want to make sure that you're safely in the mix for the overall, just to get there.
Yeah, I think you got it. I mean, our teams are similar because we were drafting 5 and 6, and I took McBride. You took ASB and Bowers, and I took JSN McBride. Difference is I went 3 wide receivers of the top 4. You went 2, and then you went Allen. It still worked out, I think. You got some neat picks with Gainwell and Brooks. I mean, people like, that's a team that's it's got real potential.
Is that the one where we were back to back?
Yeah.
Did you take
Bowers, and I was like,
and you took McBride.
I normally would have taken Pickens, but I already had him. One team already. It was my second. This is my second draft, I think. So,
Jay, did you take a second quarterback with Josh Allen?
I did. I took Danny Dimes in the 19th. So this one was back in May.
So 19th. Okay, that's not terrible. I still don't take anybody, but I don't mind round 19 Dimes.
And I took Burrow in the 6th with Higgins, but I took Darnold in the 16th because you get a free look. I mean, I'm going to take. I don't think it's a problem taking him in the 16th. Whatever.
You don't have to tell me who the player is, but when did you take your second tight end?
Who, me?
Remember? No, Jay on the Bowers team.
I took a 17th round. I took Hawkinson.
And I took Helm in the 18th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, that one's just warm body. Maybe he works out.
Right.
Maybe he doesn't. It probably won't be on my roster come week 13 when I need
Right.
a replacement for Bowers, or maybe he's gathering points on my bench. Either way, that's fine. But
Okay, I was just wondering. I wonder because when I, like you said, it makes you uncomfortable about your wide receivers and your running backs when you do quarterback, tight end. I mean, you still have 4 other picks that you made in the first 6 rounds, so you could be strong at running back if you went running back, and then Josh Allen or running back. Whatever combination it is, you could be strong at one of the 2 positions.
He's strong.
But-
He's got solid running backs, and he's
But
like you said about his wide receiver. But you could have, you got a Dobbs there.
But you guys took your tight end and your quarterback in 18 and 19, so you didn't give up an opportunity in the mid rounds to add to whatever position you were lacking.
No.
Once you go early tight end, early quarterback, I'm not touching those positions for a long time. It's all receivers and running backs.
How about now? I know Joey's gonna like this question because he's been toying around with the strategy, and it works out from time to time. But it's not something I think he should get used to doing all the time. Flexing a second tight end. What are your thoughts on this in the NFFC format where it's not tight end premium?
I'm not a fan unless you absolutely have to. Like, I would not draft 2 early tight ends to do it. If you draft one later and he turns out to be flex worthy, then that's fine. But I got burned a couple of times trying that, going like Kelsey, Darren Waller, Mark Andrews, Darren Waller that one year, drafting both those guys. It never worked out for me. And without the tight end premium, I just don't see the tight ends having that consistent upside of getting 15 points a week to make it worth it when you can get a receiver who can blow up and, have a 2 touchdown game, 7 catches, 150 yards, and put up that 30 burger. That's very rare. You're going to get that from your tight end, especially a tight end 2 on your team.
Nice. I like that. Well said, Jay.
Yeah, I agree. I'll tell you what happened the other day, Jay. I'll just bring it out here in the open.
I'm still killing Joe for his team.
Sometimes if, early in the season, that's not a terrible way to approach that flex. If you got a bunch of upside running back receivers that you're waiting, aren't going to be startable week 1, but you're hoping they're within the first 3 or 4 weeks that they emerge quickly. And you want that safe floor guy for a week or 2, that's fine.
I guess I'm a little different. And I was not planning on taking. I had the 1 pick the other night. I had Jahmyr Gibbs. I took my 2 guys I wanted them because I know they wasn't going to come back. I took McConkey and Christian Watson. Play to win type moves. Round 4, Josh Allen was there. I'm just going to take him. Where it got dicey, then I came back. I took Jordan Tyson as wide receiver 3. I did not plan on Coach Loveland being there in round 6. I took him.
Yeah, I saw that one.
I had to take him.
That's a great pick. There's nothing wrong with that pick, Joe.
Here's where I guess I'm different, and I'll tell you why I'm different. Round 10, you've got wide receiver 3 or 4s on teams. I said, and I had Josh Downs as my wide receiver 4 already. So I said, what? Laporta's here. I'm just going to take him. I said, I can use him as a flex if I need him. I just think if you look at rankings on everybody's formats, he's probably a top 10, 10-ish, 11, low end 1. I'm like, why am I going to take a dart on a wide receiver 3 or 4 on a team when I can just take him? If I have to flex him, I flex him if need be. I guess what threw me off, usually my strategy is when I take, say, a Josh Allen, I don't normally take a tight end. But nowadays, since Jay's probably done a lot of drafts and Gambert's done a lot, I've seen more double tapping tight ends and quarterbacks nowadays than I have ever. I don't think I've ever seen this in the later rounds. I've not seen that. So it's not the best strategy.
There's a lot of ways to skin a cat there. I agree with Joey. I told Joey, if you flip-flop, he took Loveland in the 6th, Allen in the 4th, right? If you flip-flop that and said Loveland in the 4th and Allen in the 6th, what are you going to say about the team? You're going to perceive it see something different. That's just the way it is. I thought it was the right move there, especially so there's a lot of ways to skin a cat. There's nothing etched in stone. Every draft is totally different, and I don't think that way. I could think out the draft just the way 5 rounds from where I'm in the 2nd round. I just figured it out that way. That's
when you take Laporta in the 10th, you're not drafting him to be your week 1 flex. If he turns out to be a flex because the other guys aren't working out, that's great. But he that's different than what I was talking about with the Kelsey Waller thing, where I took Waller in the 3rd round. He was my flex. That was what I drafted him to be. That strategy I don't like.
Yeah,
if you take your backup tight end in the 10th round and you already got a value on Loveland, that's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have any problem.
I was just looking at do I really want a wide receiver 3 or a wide receiver 4 on a team when he's like I said, everybody's rankings is different. Laporta's he's probably a top 12 tight end as far as everybody's rankings, about between 10, 11. I'm like, well, he's a low end 1. I said he might be useful. So that's the reason why I took him. Like I said, I would not plan on taking him. I wasn't going to take Love. I didn't know Loveland was going to fall at 61. I mean, it was round 6, pick 1. So you have to pull the trigger.
You know what? If Colston Loveland can average over 16.5 points a game, 17 points per game range, if he does take it to that level, then I guess it's not terrible. You could essentially flex him and put Laporta at the tight end. I mean, it doesn't really matter where you play each one. If
we both being starters, right?
Yeah,
that's what you're saying.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm not sure. I wouldn't have taken a mid-round tight end. It doesn't matter. I get it. Laporta 10th round is nice value. I've seen him go in the 7th and 8th round in some drafts. So to get him in the 10th is nice. So maybe it was a good pick, Joe. We'll see. Only time will tell. Only time's gonna tell. I just wouldn't approach my build that way, and I would have never taken Josh Allen either. So that's a story for another time. I think if you with the number 1 pick, you have to give up. You have to punt Josh Allen. That's my bold take on the number 1 spot this year.
If I look at it, I don't know what Jay would do. I don't know what you all would do.
Somebody's got a late 4th round Allen. Those are the best Allen teams, in my opinion.
But he ain't going to go out. Most times he ain't going to. 4th round, somebody's taking him in the 4th round. For 4-1 to 4-12, he's gone.
Right. Correct. Without question.
Anybody's going to take him right there. But like I said, if I had to do over, I probably would have took Jamar Chase after I sit back and look at it. That's who I am. I like taking wide receivers. I like Gibbs. That's who I took, but I feel more comfortable probably taking a wide receiver. I mean, I don't know.
I like Gibbs.
I lean more receiver early just because I don't like the receivers later. So I always feel like I can find a running back later. And by later, I mean like 7th, 8th, 9th round.
Totally agree.
I'm not liking the receivers there.
I totally agree with you on that because I think there's better running backs in the 8th, 9th, and 10th, 7th, 8th, 9th than there are better receivers. That's how come I don't oppose nobody. If they take Jamar Chase, you're probably better off.
Running backs also naturally carry higher contingent upside. There's more likely of a chance a running back falls into more volume based on injury than a wide receiver. A wide receiver, it usually takes a trade to happen, and then somebody steps into more value. There's injuries too, but the injuries occur a lot less frequent than running back injuries.
And I tell you too, I want to see what Jay thinks about this too. I think if you take Jamar Chase at 1, you have to follow him up with 2 more wideouts. I don't think you should take 2 wideouts and running back. I think if you're going to commit to that, like you said, I would be fine with like Chuba in the 9th or whatever,
Yeah, there's lots of guys on that.
I think you should go 3 wide.
Josh? Josh,
Do what?
I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Yeah, I'd go 3-4 wide to start, and then worry about whatever's there in that 5-6 turn.
Yeah.
You're probably taking Burrow at that 5-6 turn anyway, too. So
Oh yeah.
embrace it.
Nice. All right. So what do we got? One question that slipped from me. When you're drafting, what time of year is your sweet spot for drafting? Like, what is it? July, mid-July, beginning of August, and when do you think is the best time to draft?
It's probably late August, once all the information you're going to get is out there after the last preseason, after the last cuts, that week or two right there. You got lots of players that haven't done a lot of drafts, that aren't used to the way the ADP goes in the NFFC. It's a much better mix of players. Again, they're not bad drafters, but they're taking guys that they think should go there versus the same group of us that are drafting over and over again and just recycling the same names. The draft boards look so much different, and I love that part. So, I like to draft in May and June to build that drafting muscle. So when I'm on the clock, I already know who I want to take. And again, as information comes out, that'll slightly change how I feel about players, but I've got that muscle memory in place that I know who I'm going to take. And when I have these two guys on the clock, I know who the guys are that are in the 6th, 7th, 8th round that I'm going to target if I need running backs or receivers. I already have all that muscle memory in place, and I can execute whatever plan I want to do more quickly when those draft boards go way different than anything you've seen before.
I like that. Yeah, you got to be sharp. More drafts mean more sharp in the draft room. So definitely makes sense. And
every year is a different year, right? Running backs are going way earlier this year than they were last year. So far, the backup quarterbacks have been going earlier, although it seems like that's finally settling down a little bit. I don't know if that's best ball brain a little bit, or if that's just how people aren't sure on the quarterback this year and want to double tap it. But the last couple of drafts I've watched, it looks like the backup quarterbacks are starting to slide down to the 11th, 12th, 13th round instead of 9th, 10th round. So,
and it appears as though some tight ends are falling in the mid rounds too. Joey got a Loveland in the 6th round. That tells me tight ends could be sliding the Lovelands. And it depends on when
they are sliding.
I think that's just people aren't comfortable with receivers for now. Again, that can change later, but I think receivers are getting pushed up. We saw the 3rd round the other night. It was all yellow, and I think Josh Allen was the only non-yellow, or maybe McBride too, but there was no running backs taken in the 3rd round. Everybody's pushing the receivers up in that round from the 4th round because there is a drop and everybody's seeing it.
Loveland went in the 3rd round at the 8 o'clock last stream. While I was watching y'all's backstage, he went 3rd. He was 3rd tight end off the board at the end of the 3rd, going back. So he went earlier.
Yeah, tight ends went.
They went
I'm
the
happy
higher
with
ones.
my last round.
It was one unique team.
I would have had this team.
it all depends on when that third tight end goes. If as soon as the 3rd tight end goes, Tyler Warren's usually not too far after.
Well, the Bowers team took Warren real quick. Is it Dave Kluge? Is that his name?
He did.
Yeah,
he did.
Football guys guy.
So
yeah,
he did.
He takes him every draft he can.
Well, he took Bowers and Warren in the total field for the 6th round. He took Warren. I was seeing it a while ago.
So he's doing the 2 tight end thing. That
Yeah.
we were just talking about.
Yeah,
I could see that helping. I don't even say it's a great move unless they both really pop off. But I could see that helping in a confined league. Where you
in a confined league, you're taking a guy away from one of your competitors.
Yeah,
So
kind of.
even if you lose a little bit of flex,
Mhm.
you're making it up on at least one team that now has a much worse tight end because you took one of the good options off. But it makes it a little tougher on the overall to get those spike weeks at the end of the year because it's
Right.
harder to get them from the tight end.
Right.
But don't ask me; I've not won an overall, so
But
I'm not the
Me
expert
either.
on that. I'm just
yeah, tight ends,
just
you're right. They're creeping.
working away.
I was right around the corner, but I never got one either.
They're so tough to, they're so hard to get.
Oh, you got to get lucky. You have to have your team pointing in the right direction, and you got to get lucky. There's no doubt about that. But, if you get there, you get there. You put yourself in that position, and then, you win, you deserve to win. That's kind of how I see it. So it's great, for everybody that gets there. Nobody's rooting against each other. That's one of my favorite things about NFFC. Everybody is happy about each other's success and pulling for one another. The only time we're not pulling for each other is actually in the draft room. But once the draft's over, that's it. We're happy to help each other any way possible. It's such a great thing, honestly.
Yeah, that's what I've been seeing a lot more the last couple of years as I start to actually talk to all you guys and, some of the other guys, Nelson, Sanda, some of these other guys that I've just randomly struck up conversations or, put chats in the live streams and gotten a dialogue going that way. It seems like it's a nice community.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm trying to get myself more involved in it.
It's a breath of fresh air for me. Because before I joined social media, whatever, I would expect the competitiveness to take over in all of us, and it be not really cutthroat, but I think it'd be taking it a little more serious as far as competition goes. But it really isn't that. I mean, it is that way. We respect. We know what our opponents are capable of. We know how sharp all of us are. And we know it's competition that way, but it's not like a true bloodbath type of style, like Red Sox, Yankees type of deal. We want to see each other do well at the same time, so it's really cool.
Yeah, I agree totally. And I tell you something, as you win some of these leagues, you kind of you cherish them a little bit because you earned everything you get in the NFFC. Ain't nothing given or handed to you on silver platter, so to speak. You have to. These guys that we go up against night in, night out, that has bukus of teams. I mean, you earn everything. Every championship you get, you earn it, and ought to be proud of it. I mean, I'm just going to tell you, NFFC is the best. It's fun, and the competition is just out of this world. It's fun. It can humble you real fast. When I first started, I'm like, man, I thought I was good, but I wasn't nothing. It took me forever to build myself up, and I'm still learning. I learned from every one of you guys. I mean, Twitter's been the best thing there was for fantasy football. but you do earn everything. Everything you want, when you win, you earn it.
So, Jay, how many total teams do you and high state? If you factor in all your teams, how many managed lineups are you dealing with this year?
Managed lineups, I think I'll be right about 100. That includes Dynasty.
How do you do it?
Yeah. So, we talked about process. So let's talk in-season process for a minute.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have a spreadsheet and I have multiple tabs because I separate them for the high stakes ones from the Dynasty, from the best ball. The best ball can just kind of sit on its own. I just like to know what rosters I have out there without having to go to every site to click through it. But I have a spreadsheet and it's got a column for each team, and I got, teams, bye weeks in there, and I use that sheet to track all the rosters throughout the season. So I'll make copies of the sheet for each week, so I know, this team I added these players in week 2 or week 3, whatever it is, and I actually have it laid out where there's a lineup grid at the top and bench players at the bottom, and I'm moving names around on the spreadsheet to figure out who am I going to start this week. I have different highlighting to tell me who's on bye, who's injured, where are people I'm choosing between versus people, that's just the lineup this week, or those guys are set in the lineup, and these are the spots I'm trying to figure out. What do I need to do to make a decision here? Do I need more information? Is somebody hurt? Am I waiting for other news somewhere? Or am I just stuck between, Parker Washington and Jaden Reed this week because Jaden Reed's got a good matchup and Parker Washington might have a hamstring. So I go through that process. I start that on Monday, reorganizing the names, moving things around to see, do I need a defense this week? Do I need a tight end this week? What am I doing for waivers? I'm flagging the guys that I'm willing to drop that week to make a waiver move so that when I go in and start putting in the names I want to claim, I know who I'm dropping and how many people I'm willing to drop so that I'm not trying to claim 10 players if I only want to drop 2. So I'm getting all that prep so then I can go into the tools, into the sites on Tuesday and Wednesday, put in the waiver claims, start setting shells of lineups, making sure I'm making decisions on Thursday players faster and getting those guys set in the lineup or put on the bench so I'm not scrambling on Thursday afternoon when I'm at work trying to figure out how I'm going to do that. And then, Tuesday into Wednesday, there's lots of late nights on Tuesdays trying to get all the waiver claims started for Wednesday. A lot of the Dynasty leagues have Tuesday deadlines, so I have a lot of leagues that are Tuesday also. So I'm trying to do all those on Tuesday and then start the NFFC, FFPC ones to get ahead of Wednesday.
Now, do you do the bid amounts at the same time you put the moves in, or do you put all the moves in first and then go back and
so usually my process is I'll go through and figure out, where do I need defenses? Who am I dropping? Then I'll start putting together a list. I'll write it down on paper. Who am I looking at quarterback, running back, receiver, tight end, defense this week that I want to put in claims in on. And then I'll match that up to, okay, this, and even on my grid, I have a cell at the top of the list for each team that says need quarterback, need tight end, need this, need whatever.
Right.
Or, I have a position where whatever the best free agent running back is, I want to grab because I have a free spot on my roster because somebody got hurt and I'm just going to drop them. So whatever it is. So then I go off of that. I know the names I'm going to claim and I just start putting them in on each team. And, if they're not available, then obviously I just move to the next name on my list and I'm putting together a bid list that way. Hopefully, if there's time before the deadline on Wednesday, I go back and look at you can look at the bids on the one screen where it's got all your teams with the bid amounts listed. And I'll go back through, did I fat finger a $10 bid to 100? Do I need to tweet? I'll think a little bit more. Oh, yeah, I was higher on this guy, but I don't think he's going to go for that much. I can lower my bid down. Or I only have, because it also shows your remaining dollars. Do I not have enough money to bid this much on this guy because I need to save some money for later? So I go back through, and after I put in the initial stuff, go back.
You start doing the old school weight. The thing that you used to get weight out of the doctor's office, you had to move it back and forth till you got the right weight. That's what I compare doing the bids. And you go back and look, you're like, I don't know, 30, 38, maybe 44 sounds better than 38. Yeah, we'll do 44. Like I definitely go in and do that. So
there's movement both ways. Sometimes I'll put in like a 260. I'm like, this guy, I don't want to pay 260 for this guy.
Yeah. You drop it down to like 232 or something. Yeah. As you try to read the room. We won't go into bid specifics. I just wanted to know if the bidding was something you did, like, because some leagues you might not have as much money left. So I that's why I always wait until as late as possible or whenever I have a free time on Wednesday to go in and do the bid amount. But I'm putting players in before the Sunday night games are even over. If somebody I'm already interested in, and I know it can help my team.
The sooner I can start that process, the better.
Yeah. Nice. Good. I'm glad we got in that. I'm assuming you do the same with lineups.
Yeah. So again, by the time Thursday comes, I want to know exactly what I'm doing with any Thursday players. And then, obviously move them out of flexes, although I think both sites now, it doesn't matter. You can move your flex players to a position now. The software is fixed for that, so you don't have to worry about that as much. But Yahoo, you still have to make sure you move your Thursday guys out of the flex because they'll freeze in there.
Now, if you set your lineup on Saturday night, do you second guess anything on Sunday morning? Or
So I try not to because I always guess wrong if I do that. So I'm making my decisions Friday night into Saturday. So Friday night, it's anybody who's not got any injury concerns or any other concerns. I'm making those decisions then. And I'm getting set to make decisions on everybody else by Saturday. So that comes Sunday morning, the only thing I'm deciding is this guy active or not? Because I've already made the decision. If he's active, I'm playing him, or I'm playing another guy if he's not. Whatever that decision is, I've already made it. I just have to get it in once the news comes out on, what that status is.
Just injuries, on Sunday. Got it.
Yeah, because every time I say, oh, I should start this guy instead. He seems like a better play because somebody on the sports channel said he's going to be in line for more touches this week. That never works.
No, good. I'm glad you said it, and you have a process to set your lineup, and it's set once it's set, but you don't go back, especially when you have if you start tinkering with that many teams, my God, it'll probably give you a headache for sure.
Especially with the early international games.
Oh, I hate those things.
Free look. Speaking of early games, free look. What are your thoughts on the teams that we're getting a free look on in the first week? Is it playing into how you build it all?
Not a lot. I see the Rams keep going as a 12th round defense now because they're the free look, and you get what's his name, Myles Garrett got traded there, so I can see that. I still think I'd rather have Houston or even Seattle over them, but I get the free look angle on that too. You're paying a little bit for that free look, and if they end up sucking week one, you can always pick up somebody off the free agent because maybe 15 defenses get drafted in a draft, so there should be plenty of options out there to at least, if they put up a 0 or 1 or 2, you can find something to bump that up a little bit. But I like the free look players. I'm in on Tonjes is one. I was in on Emmanuel Wilson until Helani sounds like he's going to be the better option out of those two guys, but I'll probably still take a couple of more Emmanuel Wilsons just to have. Again, it's a free look. If he sucks, you drop him.
I'm glad you mentioned Tonjes. That was one of my guys early in the year. I said he can be really big in that system, and even if Kittle's out, say first few weeks, but.
And if he's not, then you're paying what, 16th rounder or later for Tonjes. If Kittle plays week 1, well, then you don't really need Jake Tonjes. He's first guy to go for whatever guy didn't get drafted.
And he was good for the games when Kittle was out. He was fantasy relevant for a lot of teams down the stretch.
Well, and he's incentive for me to take chances on Kittle because you can grab Tonjes in this. You take Kittle in the 10th, Tonjes in the 16th. Now you got a tight end for week 1.
Yeah.
Either way, or if they both, if Kittle doesn't play and Tonjes doesn't do anything, I won't make those my only 2 tight ends. I'll take somebody else too, but it gives you some extra options there.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever go, Joey, like if you're watching the game, like I know we got so many teams, but this guy just got hurt. You go to your phone to that team, like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and put like $1.
I do not at all. I do not look at fantasy scores until the Sunday night.
Oh, you don't? Like if somebody gets injured, you don't go and put a bid in? Or?
No, it's going to happen on Tuesday anyway, so I'll wait till then. But I don't want to. I know what players I have, so if I'm in on Amon-Ra St. Brown and he gets hurt, I already know I got a bunch of teams that are going to be screwed because of that. But I'm not looking at scores to see, who am I playing against? How are my teams doing? That makes for an unhappy Sunday. So I just like to sit and watch the games and enjoy it, and I'll check the scores later. Again, it's more just to see, hey, is there any game that's close that I'm actually rooting for somebody in the Sunday night game a little more, the Monday night game? Other than that, the scores can wait till it's all settled or mostly settled.
Yeah, it's nice. Tough. It's hard not to look, but that's a good way to approach it. I guess it takes a little bit of stress away when you don't look at it.
It really does. You just, because once you see that score, you're like, oh, I'm already losing by 20 points. Now you're thinking about that. It's in your head, and it makes it less enjoyable to watch.
I usually check after the 1 o'clock game, the 4 o'clock games, and in between the games. Like I'm not looking at it during the game or whatever. But After the 1 p.m. games, I'll take a peek 4 p.m. Usually I do that.
I'm in my football chat with my friends, just chatting away about what's happening on the games, and we all watch it the same way. We went to the sports bars for many years together, so we're all trained to watch our 8 to 10 games at once. And oh, did you see that play on this screen? And oh, did you see the hit in the Cleveland game?
All right, so I got one more in season question. Teams that you get qualified for the shootout, how do you approach the last week of waivers? What are you looking to do to finalize your roster and to carry what you want to carry into the 3-week shootout?
So it's going to depend on the format. So NFFC, I'm not worried about having a second kicker because you don't have to worry about injuries there. I will, if it makes sense, and even if I have 2 quarterbacks, I'm probably taking my main starter's backup and putting him on my roster and getting rid of some, third tight end that I never play anyway. Or, I'm trimming some of that dead weight on the roster. That's just, in case of emergency, this guy might get me 8 points. That's not going to help you in the shootout. So I'm getting any backups of any of my players that I can get, and I'm taking other people's backups, wherever, if anybody that's on the waiver wire, that if the starter gets hurt, that guy can step in and get me 15 points. And again, there's not a lot of those at that point in the year, but that's what I'm looking for to add to my roster. Backups to my key players, but handcuff running backs, whatever it is. At that point, my starting lineup should be set. So I'm just looking to make sure that I can replace the guys with a close equivalent.
What about team defense? What about team defense?
Defense, I definitely want to have at least 2, if not 3. And I'll, again, depending on how things are going, if I'm already feeling good that I'm going to make the sprint, I'll start adding, looking at adding defenses earlier than week 14. If I'm, in the hunt, I'm doing everything I can to get every point possible before week 14 to make sure I qualify. And then that last week, I'll worry about adding that second, third defense. But yeah, I do want to have multiple defenses because, again, you never know. Star defensive player gets hurt, bad matchup. You should be looking at those things a couple of weeks before the sprint starts and adjusting your roster. And again, adding that second defense who's got some better matchups, get ahead of everybody else on that.
And pick them up on Saturday night. That's the best. That's the cheapest waivers. Man can tough it out. You can say, I like Saturday night waivers. A lot of people ain't even as active as they are in the earlier part of the week. But
yeah, and when I'm doing Saturday waivers, I'm looking at next week. I'm not even worried about the current week. It's what defense has a good matchup next week that I can get ahead of everybody else that's going to try to bet on Wednesday. And
I agree.
This week.
Yeah. If the man can get a week ahead, you're a lot better off always. That's what I try to do. But
that's another selling point for going defense early if you pick the right one, at least, because you're spending less time worrying about crunching defenses every week on the waiver wire. You're saving fab. You're saving personal time. When you have 100 teams to manage, that's a big difference. If I don't have to worry about defense on 30 teams because I already have a good one, that's saving me a lot of time in my weekly process.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. I agree with that. I mean, as much as fun as that process is, trying to dig up the next defense is going to get you through the next couple of weeks.
The season flies by so fast once I get into that rhythm of, okay, Monday I'm doing this, Tuesday I'm doing this, Wednesday I'm doing this.
It does.
It's Sunday. Let's watch some games. It flies.
It's like week 9, or before you know it, you're like, I can't believe it's week 9. Nice. All right, Jay. So, I mean, you guys have anything else to add, or it sounds like we might be coming to an end. We've been going 90 minutes. Definitely want to make sure we all have time to catch the 10 p.m. live stream on the High Stakes Fantasy Network with Greg and is it Greg and Jeff or Greg and Tom? Who's?
I think it's Greg Ambrosius and Jeff Erickson. I think they're the ones.
Oh, Greg and Jeff
Yeah.
Erickson. That's right. Tonight's the Jeff Erickson. That's okay. Now I remember. That's good. That's at 10 p.m. So we'll probably call it a show. Jay, appreciate you taking the time to share your process and talk about your high stakes journey. It was great to get to know you. And once again, we appreciate you listening. Iron sharpens iron, so you got to remember that. That's why we all want to listen to what we have to say. When it comes to fantasy football, I think it's really cool that we all interact with each other like this. I enjoy highlighting some of the high stakes guys that are unknown. I mean, this is what, the second time you've been on a live stream? Yeah. So
His debut with Nelson, man, he did it with flying colors too, man. That was great.
Yeah. So this is all fun stuff for me. So
It's fun for me too. I love watching these streams to hear everybody else's thoughts and opinions and how they kind of go about the process of this game of ours. And so I was happy to contribute.
nice. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Mike and Joe, you got
How many
anything?
primetime teams? I was going to ask him how many primetimes he did. How many primetime teams do you usually do?
So this year I'm not doing any because I did not win anything last year. Usually I do sprinkle 2 or 3 in.
Yeah, I do the same. 1 or 2 for me. I do.
That's for me. I've done more OCs now because I like to try to hopefully can win one. That way you can get your prime time paid for. It's like you got a $350 buy-in to the prime time. I like to. I've done more OCs this year so far. But I'm gonna do a few more, but that's a good way to do it, especially where you're doing 8 of them.
That's usually what I do. I roll those over to a prime time. So
that's the best way to do it.
That's the best way to do it. I mean, sink in the full buy-in. If you haven't won, if you're not playing with house money, it can add up quickly. For sure.
I only do one. I only do one prime time every year. That's all I do. I'm low volume. I mean, as far as that goes.
Yeah, I'll do a
You
handful
do the
of
bullet, though, right,
OCs.
Jay? You did the bullet?
yeah, I did the bullet for
I
sure.
wouldn't do my first bullet this year. I've only been in it like 3 years.
I didn't do it. I've done 2 of them. I didn't do it last year, but this year I'm doing a bullet. So I haven't decided if it's going to be in New York or not yet. I don't know if I want to draft my bullet with those animals.
It's hard to avoid anyone in the bullet because
I know that, but maybe I want to be
every one of them.
right here in my little station, the privacy of my own home. That's how I want to do the bullet this year, I think.
I'll tell you a little secret that I used to do. You know how they got the sign-ups, like, okay, who's in this league cheer? I used to try to do some online whenever everybody's at New York and having the live drafts. I said, okay, some of them may not be in here, so I'm going to draft on the New York Super night. All that stuff, how they have that Super. I usually try to, I'm going to do this, but it's still tough no matter who's in them.
I tried that last year with the bullet. I did it the night you guys were in New York. And
oh, you did?
Yeah.
I don't know. Have any of you been in the same league together? I don't know.
I'm sure we have.
Probably.
I don't know if we have last year.
Just looking back at my history, I saw I had a Nelson League from like 2016. I was like, I don't even know who that was at the time. Just like I'm sure I had a bunch of Chad Schrader leagues. Like, oh, who's that guy?
I didn't know the first time I had Nelson in my league too. I said the same thing. I was like, I don't know who this guy is, but he's doing really good. Like he's already killing us on the fab and the in-season moves. He was like, I was still fairly new too. I remember Nelson's was one of I learned a lot just from watching what he did. So Nelson's a good guy, man. Very one of the best.
He always answered my questions on earlier live streams, so I appreciate him too.
Yeah, he's the guy. He's somebody you want to listen to for sure. He knows the secrets.
I'll tell you a funny one right quick before I let you go. I told Mike, I think today or the other day, It's the truth. It's the truth. No joke. I didn't have no idea what I was doing. I think it was '08. It was Wyckoff Day, World Championship Fantasy Football. I was just doing a little satellite league. I want to say $125 buy-in. I was like, that was a lot for me back then. I was like, I got on the message board like, hey guys, how quick does I didn't know. I was like, how quick does these quarterbacks go in this format? Blah blah blah. And he was the only person who answered me. So I started following Nelson ever since then. He was at Scout Pro and he was at something else. So I had subscribed to his stuff ever since. I mean, for him to take out the time just to answer me on the message board, I thought that's it. I had a lot of respect for him after that because I didn't know. I was one of these magazine type people, and okay, I don't know. Joe might remember it. One of the biggest events ever was what they called the FFOC. It was Fantasy Football Open Championship. It was 2 quarterback league. It was $1 million contest. And then it went under. I knew it wasn't going to last. I said they can't do $1 million like that all the time, but they was back around '08, and I quit for a little while. Then 2012, when he said he started 2013, so 2012 was really when I started playing mid-states and FFPC and stuff. But Nelson, he's a good guy.
Nice, Mike, you've been quiet tonight. What are you doing? How's Charlie doing?
He's sleeping. He's doing real well, man. He's made a lot of good picks for me. That's why my teams are so good this year. He's giving me those late sleepers. No, I'm not sure. I've probably been in drafts with you last year. I didn't even know it, Jay. But I know this year, my first 2, I was with you.
Yep.
And
I'm sure, Joey, I've seen your name in my drafts before. I just didn't know to reach out to you. Now I know.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Have you got like a set team name that you go by or anything? Sometimes that's
no. I usually go with various fictional football teams. So most of them are like real. Well, not real, but like football teams that are fictional. So West Canaan Coyotes from Varsity Blues, names like that.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
With that, I'll mix in some other like random names that are movie or TV show related. So my main one I usually use now is River Bottom Nightmares from the Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas, the River Bottom Nightmare Band. That and South Park Cows. Those are my 2 main ones that I use over and over again. But I'll mix in, and if you see anything that's like West Beverly Wildcats for Beverly Hills 90210 or some other ones I have. Yeah. Anything that looks like that. Bayside Tigers, that's another one. Although I saw somebody else using that one too. So
Saved by the Bell, right?
Yeah.
Bayside
I like it.
Nice. Yeah. I get into the team names too, but I it's more of like, wow, that sounds like a cool fantasy team name. But I'll text myself some of them, and then if they happen to coincide with the rosters players I had, like the year I finished 4th in the 2018 OC overall, I had that's back when they were player kickers. I had Harrison Bucker and Todd Gurley, so I named my team nice Bucker on that Gurley. So like I thought that was pretty cool. Like I try to go for humor. When somebody sees my team name, I want them to giggle to themselves for a second. So that's my main goal when I create my team names. But almost all at the same lines as you, Jay. Like when I see, I definitely have seen Bayside Tigers on the standings before. So like that's another, like make you stop and go, that's a cool name. That's a cool team name. So
the people that actually get it from whatever obscure movie it came from, then it's like, oh, you watch that too? Nice. Yeah.
So one of my things, entertainment value from fantasy football for sure.
It's a game, right? Yeah. I mean, we're here to win money, but we got to have some fun too along the way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you got to enjoy yourself. Otherwise, what's the point, right?
That's a motto. That's a motto of a lot of people who play this game. So, all right, Jay, where can the people find you? Do you post, or are you just somebody who just
I
checks
randomly
out?
post, but I don't post a lot of fantasy content. I mean, you're
Yeah.
welcome to ask me a question or tag me in something, and I'll happily give my opinion. But I'm not
Nice.
out doing content or anything. But I'm at
Depend-
Yadge2112 on Twitter. Big
Yep.
Rush fan too. We didn't talk about that. I saw they had to cancel or postpone their concerts tonight. And what's today? Wednesday, whatever the next show is. Getty's got laryngitis.
Seen, I'm assuming you've seen them live, right? I've heard they're good.
I saw them on this tour. When we went to California. I said Disneyland earlier. We went to. The trip started as I'm going to see Rush for opening night in LA. Who's coming with me? And then it became, okay, we're going now. We're going to 2 shows, but we'll go to Disneyland
Only
too.
in August. I know that.
They're going where? Yeah, they're in New York in August. Philly in August. Okay, yeah. I'm going to see them in Toronto August 7th. And then they come to Charlotte right before Thanksgiving, so I'll see them then too.
Yeah, I haven't. Tom Sawyer was the only time I saw him. Yeah, that was good. Great concert.
Yeah, I heard they're good live. I'm not a big fan, but I do like some.
I like
a couple of the songs. Yeah, but I could see them being much better live. Like I think I would enjoy the live show.
They have a female drummer now, right? Is that right?
Yeah, Jeff? She's really good. It's
really
a different
good,
groove than Neil, so
right?
It's not the same, but she's really good, and it does not hinder the music at all.
That's good. That's good to hear. That's what
just
I heard.
A different feel to it.
She's young too, right? I heard.
Well, young compared to them. She's in her 40s.
Well, yeah, that's true.
I'm in my 40s.
They're kind of old. That's like the theme of the show.
What's that? Yeah.
I said they're kind of old. That's the theme of the show when they do all their little video stuff.
Right. Nice.
All right, Joey, Mike, you guys have anything else to add? No? Yeah.
Let's go backstage after we'll live for a minute.
You want to hang out back? Yeah, hang out backstage.
In just a second. Yeah.
Hang out backstage for 5 minutes, Jay. Joey got something to ask you. Want to appreciate everybody in the chat tonight, everybody that tuned in live. Hit the like button for us on YouTube. If you're not subscribed to the Sports Affiliation, please subscribe. We are at, last time I checked, 909 subscribers. So we are, what's that make it? 91 away from 1,000.
Yeah, we're going for 4 figures, right?
Yeah, on Steve.
No math.
That's going to happen soon.
On Steve's channel too, on Fantasy Savvy, that's where you can find Joey, Mike, and the rest of the high stakes crew. We do shows on that channel as well. That's also approaching 1,000 subscribers. We want to get both. It mean a lot to me to get both to 1,000 for sure.
We're on tomorrow night, right?
Been working hard doing this podcasting for a little over a year now.
Jay, you probably brought in at least 15 to 20. Probably.
I was gonna say I don't know if my 100 followers who are mostly you guys
we
and
probably
other high stakes players anywhere happen, but
nice. Yeah, no. So yeah, hit the like, hit the subscribe. We'll be back next week. Not sure. Not sure if we're rolling Wednesday or Thursday on Steve's channel. That's to be determined still. But there will be something. We are going over one division. We're doing one division per week from now until the end of this season. Break it down, fantasy football, all stuff that's going to help you get you prepared for your 2026 drafts. So that being said, we're going to get out of here. Jay, thank you for taking the time. Mike and Joey, thank you as always. Cheers, everybody.
Nice can. I like the can, man.
Have a good night. I'll cheers my Yeti, Sports Affiliation Yeti.